I'm actually not a big social media guy. I do more. I would rather watch you than be on some app.
That was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis doing a bit of damage control. That was one day after DeSantis was hilariously ridiculed for his failure to launch on Twitter. That's his presidential campaign, by the way, with Elon Musk. And, well, you saw him. He went on Newsmax the next day, as well as on Fox News, to downplay the disaster that was his campaign launch. First, I'm going to show you what he said to Newsmax host Eric Bolling.
Well, they were very confident that they had the ability to get a lot of people, and they were anticipating a lot of people, but there were more people that tried to sign up than even what Twitter had anticipated. I was just in a room in Florida, so I didn't really know necessarily what was going on, and so I think it had to do with Elon's account. They called an audible, and then they were able to get it done. But I think what happened with it was because Elon was involved, Twitter was involved, we got way more play about it than we would have if I just would have given a speech. And I would have asked them to have maybe more capacity and say maybe we'll get even more people, but I would not have traded doing a speech. I think that this has been something that a lot of people are talking about, and I think that it's something that as we go forward, you know, we need to be able to speak directly to people, and that's what we did.
Oh, you see, everything turned out great. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, but it turns out there's just so many people. Yes, so many people that were clamoring to get in. So now, I think yesterday I said that, what, there was like 600,000? No, it turns out that was basically, they got pretty close to that, I think, for a couple minutes until it crashed. But generally, it was actually around 250,000. And look, DeSantis has been doing this weird thing claiming that, Twitter video impressions of this, were 22 million. 22 million. Well, it turns out that the metrics here on Twitter, if you view a video for 2 seconds, that counts as a video view. So basically, if you're scrolling along your feed for 2 seconds, that video pops up because it's autoplay, that counts as a view. Massively, wildly inflated numbers. And then claiming, oh, all those people trying to get in the Twitter space. You know, it just shows that there's so much interest in that campaign. No, that's actually not it at all. There were plenty more people that were doing online events that got way more people than Ron DeSantis. And they had a lot fewer errors. Again, disaster. Complete and utter disaster. That said, so he goes on and he defends his decision and doesn't realize that he's been memed into the sun. I'm not kidding. Donald Trump was on True Social obliterating him. I mean, but by the way, more important than the dunks here is the overall impression that people got. And that would be the fact that if he cannot run a campaign announcement, how the hell is a guy going to run the country? Exactly. Now, that said, apparently Ron DeSantis donors kind of played it off. In fact, at a fundraiser Thursday night, Politico reported that many attendees at a DeSantis fundraiser, so let's be honest about where it's at, dismissed concerns over DeSantis' fumbled launch, and polls showing the governor trailing by large margins nationally and in early nominating states. Now, here's one former Pennsylvania Representative Lou Barletta, who is a DeSantis supporter. Quote, polls right now really mean nothing. You know, the polls, they don't really matter. I mean, polls don't matter. You know, it's, you know, who can continue to raise money to stay in the race. Yes, it's all about money. It's all about money. Oh, what does money buy? Money buys television. It buys advertising, essentially. So it buys you airtime. Donald Trump's so much of a clown, and he's entertaining, by the way, that he gets all the free publicity and airtime that he could ever want. Ron DeSantis, well, he's going to have to rely on more donors to compete with that. Not only that, but Donald Trump has a much, much better media organization. I know it sounds like I'm like for Donald Trump or something like that? No, not really. I'm just pointing out facts. He does have a much more competent, I know, weird, right? Media team. That's how he was able to meme Ron DeSantis into the sun. So, but anyway, that said, apparently they're going to rely on donors that were formerly Trump donors going over to DeSantis and basically pumping all the money into his campaign so that he can get out ads. So now that said, to continue with Barletta, he says, I believe the polls right now will not reflect what they'll look like months from now. Well, the polls right now are pretty bad. So why don't we go to some of those? This just happened a couple of days ago, and we don't know if there's going to be like a campaign bump as a result. And so we have to wait for further polling. But just a couple of days ago, a poll in Quinnipiac came out. In a head-to-head matchup between Trump and DeSantis, Trump gained an even bigger lead, 61 to 32% among Republican and Republican-leaning voters, compared to a previous poll in late March that showed DeSantis at 42% and Trump at 52%. So Trump gets an even bigger lead. No, it's over. It's over. It's over. Now, that's it. Of course, that's my opinion. And, of course, you have the opinion of the supporters and donors, which are, a pretty biased source of information. So let's go, to be fair, let's go to some people that might not be biased towards Ron DeSantis or specifically against him. So Iowa primary voters. Now, they were recently having a town hall for Tim Scott, who was another Republican running for the nomination. He held a town hall in Iowa, and Politico went and decided to ask some people about, hey, did you hear about Ron DeSantis' terrible Twitter campaign announcement? One of them said, I knew what was going to happen today on Twitter, but I'm not a Twitter follower. Now, he's 63 years old. Another one who was younger, 30-year-old, who was interested in hearing Tim Scott speak, said, no, I didn't hear about it. But Twitter, no, nobody's on Twitter. 50-year-old substitute teacher said, I just heard that he did, and that it kept stalling or whatever. When asked what news that would mean for DeSantis' campaign, she replied, it might mean that a lot of people were very interested. So, yeah, it looks like she bought the drink the Kool-Aid on that one, the party line. There was a 65-year-old UPS union steward who voted for Trump in 2020, who did admit it was a fumble. It was a fumble by his campaign. Now, this guy who voted for Trump said he wanted to find a fresh face, in who to vote for in the primary this time. So, look, I don't know. Maybe I'm too terminally online. Or maybe I'm putting too much stock in a few of the 300 Iowa primary voters at a Tim Scott event. I don't know. What I do know is that younger voters are a huge demographic. Younger voters tend to be more tech savvy and online. It's, tend to be more. And we do also know that Republicans, or not just Republicans, but a lot of people tend to ignore some of the, issues, mistakes, whatever, made by a campaign. So I don't know. But what I do know is that Donald Trump won the last primary in 2016 because he was able to out-meme and bully everyone. He's really good at it. He Donkey Konged everyone into submission. DeSantis, DeSantis is not able to do that. And that's not the kind of campaign that he's running. His campaign is basically running on the fact that he has done all this fashy stuff in Florida. Now, the right-wing base loves that stuff. Going after trans people, going after gay people, going after critical race theory and all the buzzwords that Christopher Rufo came up with, just to say that, we hate education, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I know it's still early, but I don't think Ron DeSantis has a chance. I mean, when you botch your own campaign rollout and you refuse to fight Trump, who's like constantly dunking on you online, that doesn't bode well. And also at the end of the day, we got to remember that Ron DeSantis is not a good governor. I mean, has he done anything in Florida to really make anyone's lives better? Cut taxes for corporations. Ooh. And he's also in the middle of doing a lot of corruption. And look, just one day after his announcement, DeSantis signed a bill to shield none other than Elon Musk and other spaceflight companies, private ones, of course, from being sued for accidents that could injure or kill crew members. So, you're not allowing people who have been victimized by these giant corporations to be able to sue to get restitution. Wait, weren't you for doing that if someone was harmed by the vaccine that you didn't like? Rather curious that you would allow this, these companies to be shielded, to have immunity from, lawsuits. Just one day after you made a nice campaign announcement, well, I should say not really a nice one, but a botched campaign announcement on the platform of Elon Musk. Weird. What happened to taking on the big corporations? Oh, it turns out you only want to take on corporations if you think they're woke. Of course.